Oh, no, he says, does he have frustrations? I was like,
yes, I like that.
yeah.
Okay.
What you after?
Put his flies down.
Get the man!
I'm filming.
Keep back the man!
So what do you say in this video?
Yeah, always your left hand up. Yeah.
Right.
Really has. Literally gone right up my nose.
It all started working on a series in my dad's shed. I followed my dreams and joined the Marines, serving in Afghanistan. Defenders were always part of me. So here we are, building custom machines with my awesome team in Shropshire. We are Mahker. Evening guys, I'm Dave and welcome to Mahker. This is episode 24. We're literally getting through them so fast now. I want to introduce this car to us. This car belongs to a customer of ours called Scott. He asked us to transform his old tired 2.2 TDCi, I think it done 250,000, and he wanted something fun, so we gave him our fun package. Before you guys get deep into this video, please go down to that button and press the like. Please guys, I know you forget to do it. We know you're watching it because we can see it, so please hit that like button right now. Go do it. So for those of you that have been following our episodes, this vehicle has been featured in all of them, from when it came in as a rusty old chassis to we blasted this chassis, we treated it, and here it is now. We're literally putting road miles on this car because I don't want any niggles with this car when it goes back to Scott. He's been really patient during the whole COVID. We had to wait for our cooling package, we had to wait for our dash controller, so I would like to deliver him a really lovely package and something that I know he already smiles because he came to see me last week. I took him out in it and his words were, Dave, you have done an extraordinary job. And thank you again, Scott. It's lovely to get some good feedback. So don't forget, guys, drop a comment below. Always leave a review of what you think of our videos. And we are listening. So those of you that have asked to zoom in on things, zoom in on product, zoom in on the components, because we're proud of what we do. We don't hide our engine mounts. We don't hide what we do under these things by fancy camera wizardry. So we're happy to zoom in on our fabrication.
Oh, can I just jump in there?
Yep.
I mean, I do fancy camera, don't I, Dave?
Of course you do. Right, so if you want to come in here, Chris, you can see down here, the light might be a bit dusk, but you'll see our engine mount. So this is our bolt-in cradle system. One is bolted to the master chassis, and that is a bolt-in mount. So what we've delivered there is a system that if there's ever a problem or the customer ever decides to change his mind, we can take this power plant out. So we might want a V8 in 10 years' time. So we can give him a V8. No welding, no grinding, nothing. Everything just bolts in, bolts out. And that's what we're about here, is making our lives easier and our customer's life easier if he ever does change his mind. Anyway, so while we were deep into this car, Scott's been sending me all these things and he probably thinks he's driving me crazy, but I like it because he keeps adding to this build. So he asked for wing tops. He asked for my Heritage light surrounds, as you see here. They're available, guys, £200 plus VAT. So hit me up if you'd like a set of those. Stainless steel bumpers, our grille kits. It all complements our finished look. So what have we got under here? So this engine here started life in a BMW E46 204 horsepower standard. So plenty of get up and go. I want to say 550 foot torque, maybe finished figure. Actually, I reckon a little bit more. I approached my friend Glenn at GKR Tuning. Glenn, those of you that don't know him, is a god when it comes to BMW tuning. So I took this engine to Glenn and I said, Glenn, let's get the max out of this puppy. So I called Scott. I said, Scott, where do you want this engine to be? He said, Dave, I don't want it screaming. He said, I don't want it to put too much pressure on my axles and his brand new gearbox and his brand new transfer case. So I said, okay, we'll go like 3/4 of the way and we'll give him the best of both. So I give him reliability. So I want to say this car's going to do 30, 35 to the gallon, but he's almost got bags of torque. He's got bags of horsepower, so tickling 300 horsepower. And here it is, a BMW MT82, so 6-speed manual box that our adapter plate bolts up to with our heavy duty organic clutch. We've kept the dual mass and we've also given a very light pedal. Don't ask us how we did it, but a bit of wizardry and contacting clutch manufacturers, we achieved it and I'm really happy with it. So Scott was happy with it, that's all that needs to do for me. So come on Chris, let's take this thing for a spin. most about this conversion is the refinement that this engine gives you. The BMW 330D can be a quiet engine. We've given this car a silencer that is about, I want to say about 3 foot long. Some people would say it's overkill, but when I first met Scott, he come across a guy that's going to be up and down the motorway and also round about town. So I said, look Scott, I'm going to give you the best of both. I'm going to give you a valve. So when he presses his Bluetooth fob, he can open that valve and turn into an adolescent 18-year-old, if you like. So if you look down here, we've given this some nice little features. Same again, we don't want this car to be too sporty and too out there, but we've given Scott a boost gauge, just so we can see what's going on. But we've kept the refinement, so there's nice little mods going on in this car. The nice lightweight clutch allows for everyday driving. His partner will be able to drive it as well, and she won't complain about her left leg. We've gone for a sporty OEM Land Rover. So this Land Rover wheel is basically, it's nice, it's leather, it's functional, it's not too big. I need a wheel about this big because otherwise I can't get my elbows round. As you can see here, this car has got plenty of get up and go. And if you can hear that, it's got a nice exhaust note as well. So we gave Scott these billet gear sticks, so they're just a lovely finish. So we had them wrapped in burgundy leather to match his interior. And you see here, we gave him a 3-piece dash insert kit. It basically just complements the plastic dash and takes away some of the, let's say, ruggedness from a Defender, if you like. These vents here are from a Mercedes AMG, I believe a C63. But it's a nice little mod con. So when Scott initially approached me, he said, Dave, he said, how can I make my car look like a maker car? And so I suggested a few of the, the exterior touches. He's gone with them, and we then started talking about suspension and how we could transfer the power, the handling into one of our maker builds without it being a full maker build, if that makes sense. So because we took this car completely to bits, the only thing we didn't take to bits was actually body panels themselves, because they were very tidy. It was a very clean Puma when it came into us, apart from the chassis. We think someone had had it on the beach or been near the coast maybe, because as we all know, the salt gets to these old Defenders. So what we did, we gave Scott our fast handling package. So that compromises of our springs, our Fox shock absorbers, our own turrets, our own suspension arms, and our Super Pro bush kits. So basically everything combined, including our heavy duty anti-roll bars, gives this car, as you can see here, stability. It gives the driver confidence. Most Defenders, you start doing this, the Defender will start body rolling. This Defender is planted. I wouldn't be afraid of throwing this car into some bends and actually coming back out the right way up. The brakes, we gave him a drilled invented brake upgrade. I call that our stage 2. It's not a basic, but it's a great upgrade, and this car does stop when required. So just to summarise guys, this vehicle is our stage 2 BMW conversion. For those that are going to ask how much, I charge for the manual conversion £20,000 plus VAT. So you can have the same as what this car has got. It will drive the same, it will look the same, and by God it will move the same. So that gets you 300 horsepower, so that's a hybrid turbo, some subtle mods inside the engine that we do, but we're keeping that secret. Our big cooling package, our stainless steel pipework, everything that you see under there, we make them pretty, we make them versatile, and we make them reliable. So what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about this car. So we've given this car some nice billet hinges. We finished these in satin anodizing, so really tasteful with stainless hardware of course. We gave this car billet handles, thanks to Optimal on these. If you work your way down, our good friend Scott at Ulpro gave us the side steps. So everything on this car is pretty much uproar. So we love Scott's products, really good products, all stainless steel, front bumper, side rails, you name it. I love working with Scott, his products are second to none, we've never had any issues, and what I love the most is it's there to last. So when your car comes back into us, we're not going to see rusty bumpers, rusty side steps and crusty things. We're going to see nice, crisp and clean cars, and that is why, if you look down here, I'm not ashamed of putting my name on it. Because I want this car, when it's seen out in the public, people will go, oh, who built that car? And I want them to come and see me. So if you want to build like this, come and see me, drop me a comment, or drop me an email if you want to keep yourselves private, and we'll just go from there.
Okay, so guys, what we're going to do now is going to basically explain to you a little bit about what an AN fitting is. This is really important for our video today because we're going over the ancillaries of the LS engine conversion, and basically these play a massive part in converting a car, because basically at each end you can pick and specify which size of pipe that you want. So let's say that a Land Rover pipe was 13mm and an LS pipe was 16mm. You could have 13 at one end and 16 at the other end. So what we're going to show you how to do is we're going to use this neat little tool here, and basically we're just going to show you how to fit this braided line, cut and fit it into an AN fitting. So we start by basically removing the main fitting off the olive of the AN line. This would not normally fit on here, they're really difficult to get on. As you can see, when you chop braided line, the outer braiding flays out and makes it difficult to use, so we put some electrical tape around there to make that easier to work with. Then you fit you take your end, you fit it into this tool here. The end of this tool has a nice smooth taper on it, and it allows you to clamp your pipe into the taper like this. This takes all the physical work out of trying to force the pipe into the end of your AM fitting. It's got different jaws basically, so this is -10, that means it's 10mm inner diameter. You fit your piece of tool like that, that locks into place. Now normally you'd be really struggling to try and force that into there. With this tool it takes all of that out. You twist that. You can set a desired depth, but for this application we're just going to go until it hits the bottom. Obviously you get pretty quick at these, you know, if you do 10 or 20 on each car. So for example, as I mentioned, this is -10. This is for the engine oil cooler. So you need 2 of these, and then there's another one for the gearbox oil cooler, and they're -6, so they're 6mm in a diameter. So basically what you'll end up with is your fully terminated line ready for your male section of your AM fitting to screw into there. We can put it on the car, determine the route and the length, how we're going to pin it, and then once we've got that we'll pull it out again, mark it and do the other end ready, and that's basically a completed line ready to fit. So a little tip for you, when you're doing AN lines, you can get these really neat, these are by Torx. This is an adjustable and these are set sizes, so these actually have the size of your AN line engraved into them. These are hard aluminium and they're anodized, so the same as these AM fittings. So the reason that these are used is because if you use a steel item or a steel spanner or adjustable spanner on these fittings, it takes the edge off and basically makes your nice AM fitting look really unsightly. So these are really great. They're basically as soft as this, so they don't mark your AM fitting when you're tightening up and fitting them onto the car.
What about the legwork, Em?
It's a right little bromance under here today, isn't it?
Yes, teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Our old faithful voltmeter died last week, so I had to remortgage the house for starters and buy this snap-on voltage meter. Isn't she pretty? What does this do, Sam?
It reads resistance, it reads voltage, it reads ampage, it reads pulse width modulation. There's loads of things. It even reads temperature.
Yeah, that's temporary. I was going to mention that. Right guys, so this is the third part in our LS 3-part series. If you haven't seen the other two, go back and check them out. The first one was obviously installing an LS, then we had wiring an LS. The third part is probably like the longest, most drawn out part. This is all the ancillaries, connecting up the engine and all sort of the really important things that the engine needs: oil, water and electricity. Okay, so first part of this is water. Obviously your engine needs water and coolant. It starts basically at your header tank. This is your high point, and our first job was to basically connect this up. If you have a look in here in a moment, you'll see that we've made some nice stainless steel lines that go from the engine to the heater box. Obviously this is a Puma heater box, it's got a Puma bulkhead. And then the rest of the pipes are basically mating the LS engine to this custom rad pack that we've installed here. So, as I mentioned, this custom rad pack from Ali Sport, this has got two internal coolers. On that end, it's got a gearbox cooler, and on this end, it's got an engine oil cooler, as well as the actual radiator pack in the middle there. If you come and have a look around here, I'll basically show you how we've been fitting the AN lines that we showed you how to terminate earlier, and essentially what they do. So as we mentioned, part 3 being about ancillaries, basically all the things that are left to connect this engine now, as Sam mentioned previously, he was sorting out all the wiring. The main parts of this engine now are essentially the main power, oil to our oil coolers, oil for the gearbox to our oil cooler, connecting all the water up, and then basically the last stage of the process is, once we've got the wings on, we'll tidy up these little extra bits of wiring that we don't have. This is like redundant Land Rover. We've connected all the fuel lines up, that's the next section, and the engine breather. Basically, after that's done, you've got a vacuum line from the servo. That basically is servo assisted brakes. That comes from the intake manifold. And then, as I said, once the wings are on, we'll finish it up with a nice intake which incorporates your MAF sensor. And that's it. That's your ancillaries from the engine bay side of things.
Yeah.
So one of the few things that we're going to have to do now, we've got no oil, so we're going to put oil in it, we're going to put water in it, check everything's happy. There's a few loose ends to deal with. So these, for example, these are the pipes for the air conditioning. The customer has requested air conditioning in this vehicle, so we're going to modify these, which again, Land Rover to LS conversion. Sam's got a bit of tuning to do, and then hopefully we're going to start the car. As you can see, this exhaust is very good looking. This is a system that we've had made at Alunox for this vehicle. It's a quad exit, so it's a 3-inch from front to back. It's got 3-inch downpipes. This essentially is finished. We just need to take the downpipes off and add sensors for O2, which you'll notice later when you hear the engine's running a little bit lumpy on first start. That's because it's got no O2 sensors in it yet. A little bit more on the ancillary part. These are the AN lines that we mentioned earlier. In this case, these are fuel. So this has got basically an old-fashioned style tank, so there's no lift pump in here. We've got this little assembly here, which is an inline filter, a pump, there's an extra filter on there just for good measure, and that runs basically down the length of the chassis. As you can see, we've P-clipped it and protected it where needs be. This is hand painted, this chassis, so that's something to be aware of. And then obviously we've got our return back into the pump, back into the tank, and then our wiring, which is factory LS wiring, which runs via CAN bus, into the fuel pump, which you can hear Sam priming there. And that's it basically. They are all the ancillaries for the LS3 connected up, and now hopefully, all being well, Sam will start it.
Yeah. lumpy is because the O2s aren't plugged in.
Guys, if you want an LS3, give us a shout. As you can see, we're using the best parts and you'll get a really nice build.
In terms of tuning, how much can you do to this engine? How much? What can you do here?
Wow.
Can you,
With this particular ECU, we can do quite a bit. Yeah, we can change almost every parameter. This ECU actually is a gearbox controller as well, so it's an engine and gearbox controller. So if you find that it shifts a bit lazy for your liking, or it's too aggressive for your liking, you can back that down. Everything basically, you can change every single thing about how the engine runs and behaves.
and what are you going to be looking for, and what changes are you going to make before this goes out to the customer?
So with it being a brand new engine, it's not like a modified. We haven't put a supercharger on it. We haven't changed the injectors. We haven't changed anything about how the engine breathes. So all we've done is we've taken it from one part of the world and put it in another part of the world. So like I've mentioned previously, the barometric pressure at sea level is different here than it is there. Air mass density is different here than it is there. It's not a massive difference, but to the engine, it's a big difference. It's like going up and down a mountain. Your car does notice it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the base parameters of what it was set to. I'm going to set that to something that's more appropriate for our climate.
inside, though. You go look inside. Come get them. So if you remember in episode 22, you'll remember this. But when it was in that episode, it was rusty, it was crusty, an idiot was in the background. This one, it was a hard toss-up. So I contacted Rich and I said, look Rich, I think it's beyond blasting and painting because it was too far gone in my opinion. We can't access the inside of the chassis, we don't acid dip them, well we can, but it's another big expense. So I contacted him and said, look, let's put a brand new Marsland chassis underneath it. So the nice thing about this is Marsland will VIN stamp it on the right hand leg.
Yeah. Sure.
If you'd like to come down here and zoom in, Chris.
Do I need to zoom in here?
Go on, go on.
You see that number there? This is the VIN number, so how it was left the factory. There's little bits here, as we're doing chassis changes, we do a Panhard drop link kit, galvanised components, and what we do, we offer a 1-for-1 service. So we keep the customer's old one, and we send the new one for galvanising, and we drop it on. Nice little upgrades, things like heavy duty steering arms, our new built-in advanced steering dampener. This car has gone for our high performance road handling kit. So what you can see here is our fast road package. So this consists of performance Fox 2.0 shocks. These springs, we had them developed with a company of ours. These are fast road springs, so soft, comfortable, but also respond well. We put galvanised spring seats, we galv the original cast arms, and every build that comes through the shop, we recommend that you fit Super Pro bushes. Lifetime warranty, they take all the slack up in the system, and they just work. Something we highly recommend is this kit here. So Joe from Pioneer, very good friend of ours, makes stainless steel brake line fittings. We love these because they can be put in at any stage. So we put them in at this stage and then we can route them through the chassis, totally flexible, and I believe it gives a 10-year guarantee. Stainless steel fittings, so they're going to last in the salt, the weather, everything you can throw at them basically. So these are the Super Pro bushes that we mentioned earlier. Lifetime warranty. I think they're about £300 for a full kit. This here is an adjustable Panhard rod. Our good friend James supplies us these from Adrenaline. Heavy duty components, 10 times better than the original one, and this is adjustable. So for those of you running a lift, you can adjust it to correct your front axle movement, left to right. So this vehicle here is going to have a very good story behind it, guys. I bought it in for a good friend of mine, Rob Tasker, aka Captain Ratty, London Mud Club. He asked me, he said, Dave, keep your eye out for me. He said, I'm dying for a military 110. He wants to do a bit of driving lessons, you know, take people off road. I think he's got something going on like celebrities, that kind of thing. So I love the sound of it. So I said, awesome, mate, I'm up for it. So I found this girl at the right money. Look at it, perfect patina. And what I love about it is, when I was in the Marines, this is the kind of thing that I was rattling around in. We used to get forced to paint them, maintain them, you know, tinker with them basically. So I've ordered him some Bfg Tires. We're going to send his wheels away this week to get them powder coated at Andy up at our powder coating shop. And basically what we're going to do, we're going to give it some mod cons, some LEDs, basically just bring it to the 21st century, but we're going to keep this patina, keep it looking crispy, you know, bit of a funk, upgrade the interior. And what he loves about inside of here is it's got these little perks. He's got plans for a little bar in here. And as you'll see, those that follow Rob Tasker on Instagram, he's got loads of quirky friends. They like having a bacon butty on a Sunday. I suggested maybe like a pull-out barbecue on one side, maybe a gym bar on the other, you know, something different. Inside here, you've literally got patina for days. So this truck almost tells a story really. So for all we know, it might have been to Iraq, it might have just lived on Salisbury Plain its whole life. Squaddies rattling around it, you never know. But he wanted something with patina, so that's what I gave him. Keep following, guys, to see what we do with this truck.
Oh, purple smart.
Dave practicing for F1.
Fantastic. Right, so thanks again for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate the subscriptions, really appreciate the comments. Keep them going, and I hope that we've satisfied a few of you, especially the guy who wanted us to zoom in on the components. Sorry about that. So I'll give Chris a kick up the ass, and he's made it happen. So anyway, we're going to crack on with this now, guys. So thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Share worldwide, guys, because what we're going to do, I'm going to do a giveaway at Christmas. And the giveaway, guys, is going to be pretty substantial. So please make sure, because what I'm going to do is there'll be a giveaway for the person that shared it, and there'll be a giveaway for the person that wins it. So make sure you get those buttons pushed out. Thanks again, and tune into the next episode. See you guys.